Hey there. Hi and welcome to the part 3 of essentially learning Kubernetes in a very easy way. This is essentially a learning about probes in Kubernetes. For the first time, we're going to write our deployment.yml file, and then we're going to talk about different probes, and specifically the agenda would be about liveliness probe. So let me share my slides and go into detail, followed by a beautiful example. All right. So probes. Before going to probes, I want to show you a very simple hello world example, right, of Kubernetes. So how do you write essentially, just the way you write a Docker compose, right? How you write your YML file. Kubernetes also has something called a YML file, right? So as you can see, very, very, very easy hello world example, right? Beginners, you say API version, just as you define it in your Docker compose, you define the version. We are saying that we are going to use the V1 kind of pod because I'm defining a pod. Now, from our theory lectures, you know that essentially every single node has multiple pods. Each pod has a container. This is just a metadata. I'm giving it some name, right? And then specs as container name. I'm providing a name and an image. This is an image that is already pre-built. You can, in coming session, we are gonna see how we can make our custom images, right? But this is a pre-built image, right? And in order to, run this, I'll show you how to run this. It's very, very easy. So I essentially wrote a deployment.py file. All it does, it executes shell commands. So the first thing you want to say is kubectl create -f deployment. So you want to essentially create that, and then you want to apply that. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a pod for us. Okay. So let me show you the demo, and then we can, hop into essentially the liveliness probes demo. So if I say, and if I try my best to collapse this, because I know people are watching from phone, kubectl, okay, kubectl pods. I do not have a pods, as you can see, right? I don't have a pods. Now let me make sure I'm in the right directory. I'm in lab 3. Yeah, that's correct. So I'm gonna run my, and by the way, guys, as I said, right, all the material is there. If you come to my GitHub, you'll find all the labs, everything very nice organized. So hopefully you guys can see this. Everything is organized, right? You have your lab codes, you have all the material, you have the code snippet. So don't worry about the code part. So I'll say Python deployment.py. So now this should create my pod for me, as you can see. So now we'll say kubectl get pods. And as you can see, I have my first pod here, which we defined through a YML file. So, which was very easy. All I did, we define a metadata, we define a kind as pod, and we define the specification. Now we'll go into liveliness probes and all. Very simple hello world. You should be able to, do this exercise. And as I said, right, the code is there. Let me cancel this. Now, so if you go to the dashboard, you should also see your pod over here running, and you should see all the details regarding that pod, right? You can exec inside the pod, you can do all of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete the pod because I wanna go to the example of liveliness probes, which is the main goal here. So we'll say kubectl delete, and I believe the name was it liveliness? Oh yeah, liveliness exec. So copy this, and I forgot one word, that is pod. I think it's pod or pod. So yeah, pod. So now if I go back to my UI, the pod is removed. So now let's go learn about probes, right? There are 3 sort of probes in Kubernetes. I think there is a typo here. I'll fix that. So we have 3 sort of probes: liveliness probe, readiness probe, and startup probes. Okay. So what are these probes? I'll discuss the theory part and then go into a demo. The kubelet uses liveliness probe to know when to restart a container. For example, liveliness probe could catch a deadlock where an application is running but is unable to make a progress. Restarting a container in such state can help to make application more available despite of bugs. Something, let's say there was some API calls and it got stuck in a deadlock. So in those sort of scenarios, it could restart. It could restart your. It could create a new pod when your health is unhealthy, right? Of your containers, right? On other end, readiness probes the kubelet uses readiness probes to know when a container is ready to start accepting traffic. Now, when I say that, because when a container starts, it has to load all the configuration files, maybe has to load some data, and then it has to start. So this allows to tell when the container should start receiving traffic. Okay, so if you read further, a pod is considered ready when all of the containers are ready. One use of this signal is to control which pods are used as a backend services when the pod is ready. It is removed from service load balancer. Again, we don't want to go too detailed. We'll go into each particular one shortly. And then you have your startup probes. Kubelet uses startup probes to know when a container application is started. If such a probe is configured, it disables the liveliness and readiness checks until it succeeds, making sure that those probes don't interfere with the application startup. So these are the three probes, right? Now, the one that I want to focus is liveliness probe with an example, right? So if you come to my GitHub, the code is there, right? This is going to be lab number 3A. Now let's read what we're doing. So this should be familiar, right? API version. Let me make sure you guys can read it. Kind as pod, right? Just providing metadata, for example, labels and name, right? Nothing crazy here. Then here I'm saying specs. I'm saying container. I'm providing a name of the container. I'm providing an image because this is a pre-built image. And here in this example, I've taken from their official website of Kubernetes documentation. So here what we are doing is we are essentially to mimic and show you the actual demo, right? What we are doing is we are going inside bin and sh, and then we are essentially creating a directory called temp and healthy. We are sleeping for 30 seconds. Then we remove that directory and then we again sleep. Now, if you see how I've defined my liveliness probe, I'm saying liveliness probe, exec command cat temp healthy. So you know what it's gonna do? It's gonna go and check, hey, for the first time, this directory is gonna be there. So which means the pod is healthy or the container is working fine. Then it's gonna remove it, which means again after period of 5 seconds, it's gonna check. It's gonna know, oh, something went wrong. I don't see that directory, which means it's unhealthy. So it's gonna kill the pod and it's gonna spin up a new one. Okay. So let's see that visually so we understand this much better. So open in terminal, right? And I have deployment.py, so just say Python. So we're gonna run this and let it do its stuff, and then I'll show you beautiful stuff, right? So now coming back here, if I refresh, and I have this pod here, right? As I said, I'll try my best to explain. So here, as you can see, the liveliness, the probe has started. Right now, the container, is healthy. But remember, soon we are executing the command that's going to remove that file or the directory, healthy one, right? And then after 5 seconds, again, the probe is going to check, hey, is everything okay? And it's going to be like, it's not okay. So it should delete and restart or recreate my pod. So let's wait. So here, as you can see, liveliness. It's unhealthy, right? Because it did not find liveliness probe failed. Cat cannot open temp no such file directory because we removed it, right? Now it should is detected that now it should again. So now as you can see, it is killing it, right? And it found it unhealthy, right? Container liveliness failed. Liveliness probe will be restarted. So now it's gonna restart again. So now so let's wait. So now it is unhealthy. So it should create one for me. So this example is a very great example which shows you a very nice use case of liveliness probe, right? So again, started, right? So we are back again, right? So you see how it's checking after an interval, and if something goes wrong, it will do the orchestration for us, right? So now if we come back to their official website of Kubernetes, this example is given here and they have explained everything in a very beautiful way. So I encourage you to take time and read here. You can also define HTTP request. For example, when you have APIs and microservices, you have a health check. You could say, hey, /health check. You can define the port. You can also pass headers if required, right? So very beautiful, right? I love it. This is absolutely fantastic. Then further, they have examples for TCP liveliness. So if you want to do TCP liveliness, then you can come here and essentially read how you're doing that, right? So these are the syntax, and you can come and read here more. So essentially what we have learned is probes are very important in Kubernetes. While writing a YML, we should write either one of the probes, either liveliness or essentially readness probe or startup probe. At least write one of them, because it will help to detect if your pod or container is unhealthy, and if it is unhealthy, it's gonna kill and start once again a new one. So back to the demo. Now we'll say cube, just have to take the name here. Let me see. So we'll say kubectl get pods, and I'm gonna delete my pod because I'm done with the demo, right? So we'll say kubectl delete pod and the name, and sure enough, my pod would be deleted in a second or two, and this should go from the UI as well. As you can see, right, works great, right? My honest feedback to everybody is, if you are, let me just make sure my webcam turns on. Takes a while. All right, so we are back. So what I'm saying is, honestly, if you want to learn and if you are a beginner, right, and if you're watching this video, just watching is not going to help. You need to pause. You need to actually do the things. That's what's going to give you experience, right? If you just see the video, oh yeah, okay, I know, okay, this, okay, you do this, okay, yeah, I get it. But when you actually do, you'll be like, this, you're not gonna get it, right? Which is why I'm saying, try out, take out some time, and hopefully these tutorials are gonna help you out. And if you feel tutorials are lengthy, you can always go to their official website and read. If you like reading, you can go to the website, read all the articles. There are beautiful blogs that explains all of these in a very nice way. Thank you so much for watching. This is tutorial number 3 about Livebness Probe, and I will see you in the upcoming next video, that is tutorial number 4.